Homesteading looks a little different around here. Winter has slowed down the growth of so much, but we are still keeping busy pulling out weeds and collecting firewood, our favourite jobs to do during this season. This week we have officially rehomed all our livestock animals, and though we are going to miss the sounds and the laughter that they brought, we are excited to dedicate all our time and energy into building our bus conversion and seeing Australia on the road. Over the next few days, Sam and I are going to be tackling these wood planks. Our job is to essentially use a giant pasta machine looking thing to plane out and thin out, and also make all of these bits of timber even, smooth, and all the same width, I think. Yeah, all the same width, so that we can use them to frame the ceiling of our bus. I think we are also hoping to get on top of the bus and give it a good clean, but that's not as urgent as this. This is our job to kind of chip away at, because it's going to take a very long time to chip away at it before Wednesday and Thursday next week. So we'll see how we go. This morning Sam had a doctor's appointment, and so while he headed off to it, I prepared our dinner. I'm making my dad's bolognese. This is one of our go-to dinner meals, and it's also a really great one to freeze for when you're feeling lazy and want to eat quickly. Usually Sam is the one to make bolognese, but today I wanted to give it a go. If there's one recipe you just have to learn, it is making bolognese from scratch. It's really simple as well, and I know that the Italian mamas aren't going to like this, but it's really easy to stuff heaps of vegetables into. I'm adding green beans into ours. You can also easily grate up zucchini and it melts right in and the flavor doesn't change. Things like celery can be added as well. We personally don't like it, but it can be. So learn this recipe, use it. It's a fantastic dinner recipe and is so quick to make. The best advice I have for bolognese is to make sure you develop plenty of flavour and caramelize each element before you add the next. That means slightly browned and not burnt. So to make our bolognese, I cook our onion until it's translucent, then I add the garlic, then the mushrooms, some carrots, and then break up our beef in this. Once everything is nicely browned and sizzling, I add our spices and let them bloom until they're fragrant before I add some canned tomatoes. I have some saved from our garden this summer and I'm so excited to use them. Our bolognese cooks for about 40 minutes, and this helps all the flavors to melt together and the sauce to come together. I also like to add some tomato paste halfway through the cooking process, but you do need to watch it after this point, so reduce the temperature so that nothing burns. If you cook your bolognese for longer than 40 minutes, the meat can sometimes go a little bit tough or grainy. So with minced meat, it's always better to cook it for less. Any green veggies that you want to add as well, like zucchini, beans, and today I'm using choco, can be added halfway through with the tomato paste so that they don't cook too long and disintegrate into the sauce. Getting the planks to the size we wanted was going to be a tedious task. Loud noise, the same actions over and over again, and our focus needing to be in the one place and on the machine so nothing goes wrong was all contributing to that. Although it's tedious, this is a really effective way to get a job done. And so Sam and I freed up our weekend to do nothing more than this task all weekend until it was done. As we did the planing process, we did every task in full, one step at a time. So we cleaned all the wood first, then we planed each plank to the same thickness, so all of them to 22 mils, then all of them to 21 mils and 3/4, etc., etc., before dropping the thickness to the next level. Of course, our fluffiest dog Kobe decided he just had to help out and stood right under the sawdust. The first few rounds were the worst, as this wood was pretty uneven in thickness, so before we could see much happen, we only saw the smallest amounts being affected until the wood was all the one thickness, and then the magic happened the next day. We stopped for lunch and now it looks like it's going to start raining pretty soon, so we're just going to pack everything up for today. We got the tough job done of getting these all about the same size, and so tomorrow or the next day or both those days we're going to be able to plane it down to the right size that we need them all to be. So yeah, good work, babe.
Thank you. Yeah.
Protected.
Yeah. Oh, I see. So what would the hybrid cream content, perhaps?
It is day 2 and we are going to continue grinding the wood. We are at the stage where it's going to be really exciting and things are actually going to happen, as opposed to just leveling them all out to the same width. So super cool, and hopefully soon the boys will get to start framing out the bus. Woohoo! Yeah. Okay. Was waiting for a comment, never mind. All of this sawdust we'll try to collect for our compost toilet as well. The first lot that we'll ever use. Which way does it go?
Yep, you go that way, backwards.
Have you ever wondered why factory workers are only assigned one type of job as opposed to going through from start to finish with each individual project? The reason for that is your brain actually works better at doing one task as opposed to switching between a few. It's kind of like it naturally learns tips and tricks as it goes, and it gets faster and more efficient. While if you were to switch from one job to another, to another, to another, it actually takes your brain longer to process the change and the shift in the job that it needs to do. And then it might only take like a few seconds or a minute for your brain to shift and think about what it needs to do and the task at hand. And even if you've done it a lot of times beforehand, that minute or those few seconds in between can really slow you down, as opposed to just doing one task really well over and over again until it's done before moving to the next part. So if you're trying to get a big project done faster, and you have a lot of little elements that together bring the project to life, do one thing at a time. So the same way that I did my scrunchies, cut out all the material first, pin all the material next, sew all the material after that. You're also, as far as sewing goes, going to use a lot less thread because you can bunch up the thread without cutting it in between. So yeah, that's my tip for the day. If you're wanting to get a project done, do one thing at a time rather than doing the whole thing all the way through again and again. Or get some friends, tag team, do all of it together. Although these types of jobs are incredibly mundane and boring, there is something incredibly peaceful and fulfilling about getting to work together like this. There is no need to talk or problem solve often. It is just a chance to be with our own thoughts and mindful in the moment that we're in. Of course, a boogie or two had to be had to the beat of our own drums. Over these few days between planing the wood, we had the last flock of hens picked up by our friends, and now this morning we are catching the 3 geese to take them down to their new home too. Surprisingly, they were easy to catch. In the morning, I fed them inside the poultry netting and closed it around them, and now we're cornering them, lowering the fence over them and holding them gently by their necks and bodies so that they feel secure. Hold on. I got you. Are you tingled?
So fluffy. Wow. It's okay. The down on the tummy is very soft.
Oh, I'm gonna miss them. They've just gotten used to us too. It's okay. okay.
Make sure you hold on to it. They can bite.
Huh?
Be careful that it doesn't bite you.
Oh, they're so pretty.
Yeah.
Wouldn't bite me. All right. Bye, geeses.
You're going to go in from that side, or I'm going to go in from this side, because the other one's going to want to get out.
What
So
side?
You stand near that door.
What door?
Can you please stand near the car door?
Here?
Yep. Yep. So you're going to put it in at the same time I do, because the other one's in there. Yep. Oh, God!
Sam. Because you had the door?
Yeah. I found it with one hand.
We eventually got the escapee back into the fence and caught him again. The property the geese are going to is absolutely stunning. With views, a pond, and plenty of new friends, we believe that the geese are going to be really happy and very spoiled. Look at your head.
Even though it's one wire, and all they have to do is duck. They're good lawnmowers.
We insisted on staying until they got into the dam and then sadly said our goodbyes. Yeah! That's it, you guys. All our livestock is officially rehomed, happily with their new families in their new environments, and we pack up all the things and eventually pack up our bus and go.
It's a bittersweet day.
Yeah, end of an era. Wow. Can't wait to have animals again in the future though. I can officially unfence all of my gardens and all of these areas around the house because we don't have animals that are going to go straight through it. We might still be fighting the wildlife, but that's definitely easier than chickens. We decided to call it as it was starting to get dark and cut up some firewood to enjoy for the evening. While Sam chopped down some wood, I kept him company by picking some of the fireweed around the property, which is beginning to pop up again. Things will look a little different here without our livestock, but we are still living self-sufficiently, supporting local farmers and growing our own food. We hope you continue supporting us as we transition from homesteading on our rented plot of land to visiting homesteads on our bus. Remember, you can still be a part of our bus trip by following the link in our description box for the Homesteaders of Australia map. We cannot wait to get our bus built out and go on this huge journey before finally settling onto our own homestead. Who knows where the journey will take us? There are plenty of cooking, building, and rural lifestyle vlogs coming weekly, so give the video a like and we will see you again soon. You good boy. With our fire started, we're going to sign off for now. Thank you so much for joining us for another weekend on the homestead. Stay warm and we'll see you again next time.